very warm welcome to all of you. On behalf of the Adventure Tour Operators Association of India, it gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to today's awareness webinar titled Safe Tourism Experience Insurance Explained, a much needed conversation on a topic that's often overlooked but deeply critical to the tourism industry. As India's tourism sector rapidly expands across experiential, leisure, and adventure based travel, ensuring the safety and security of travelers, operators, guides, and service providers become a shared responsibility. And yet, insurance, which should be a basic building block of operational readiness, is still either misunderstood, underused, or entirely missing from many parts of our ecosystem. Today's session is not a technical seminar, but an educative dialogue aimed at demystifying what insurance really means for us, why it matters, and how it can safeguard all stakeholders in the value chain. Before we begin our expert discussions, it is my privilege to invite a visionary leader and an inspiration to our entire community, Padam Shri Awardee and President of ATOAI, Mr. Ajit Bajaj, to formally address the House and to set the tone for today's webinar. Over to you, Ajit.
Thank you so much, Ash. Thank you. Good evening, team, and a warm welcome to all of you for this webinar. I would like to once again extend a warm welcome to Mr. Devesh Srivastav, who was the CMD of General Insurance Corporation. Mr. Devesh Srivastav was a senior from college, and I'm really grateful to him for having joining us. As you all know, insurance is absolutely critical for us in adventure tourism. Also want to welcome and thank Mr. Arun Srivastav, Joint Director General in the Ministry of Tourism. Mr. Srivastav looks after adventure tourism. We've been working very closely with him, and Arunji is so grateful to you for all your proactive support. In fact, just about an hour back, Arunji and I were talking about having a meeting between adventure tour operators and some of the members of some of the insurance companies facilitated by IRDAI, that is the Insurance Regulatory Authority of India. We also have with us Dev. Dev, thank you so much for joining us today. We look forward to hearing, about some of the new products you have on offer for tourism and adventure tourism. Well, I just want to begin by talking to all our adventure tour operators that while we can't stress the importance of insurance in our sector, right? The trick is we need to be educated about it, but the real trick is in never having to use it, right? ATOI is working closely with the Bureau of Indian Standards. We would suggest that all of you get your recognition from the Ministry of Tourism as an adventure tour operator. We are working with the Bureau of Indian Standards for the adventure tourism industry, but also on ISO 21101. Now, ISO 21101 is the international standard for adventure tourism safety management systems. So these are all things we need to do as adventure companies. Let's understand insurance. Let's ensure that we follow the best global practices in our businesses. And the trick is we have to be insured, but we never want to use our insurance. Thank you so much. With that, I'd like to hand it over back to you, Arsh. Thank you.
Thank you, Ajit, for highlighting the importance of creating a safe and responsible tourism ecosystem. We are privileged to have with us highly respected voices in this domain, as the Jeep was saying, Mr. Devesh Srivastav, former chairman and managing director of General Insurance Corporation of India, who brings us a macro view of the insurance landscape, its alignment with risk management in tourism, and the significance of liability and third party coverage from a national and regulatory standpoint. Mr. Dev Karwat, founder and CEO of Essego, a pioneer in travel assistance and protection, who will walk us through the practical side of insurance, the types of policies available, what tourism operators, guides, and guests should know, and how we can embed these solutions into our businesses in a seamless and value driven way. We're also honored to have Mr. Arun Srivastava, Joint Director General Marketing and Promotion from the Ministry of Tourism, Government of India, joining us with a special address. His presence reflects the ministry's continued commitment to responsible tourism, safety standards, and public private collaboration. We hope this session inspires you to reflect, ask questions, and most importantly, start a journey towards greater resilience, accountability, and preparedness in how we operate. With that, let's get started with Mr. Arun Srivastava, who is the Joint Director General at the Ministry of Tourism, Government of India. He leads the Strategy and Product Development Division and oversees marketing, promotion, and international cooperation. His work focuses on tourism strategy planning, asset and content creation, and the development of niche tourism segments such as MICE, wellness, ecotourism, adventure, and wedding tourism. He is also responsible for fostering partnerships with private stakeholders and ensuring interministerial convergence through initiatives like Earth Ganga and Vibrant Villages. We're truly honored to have you with us today. We would be grateful if you could share with us how does the Ministry of Tourism view the role of insurance in ensuring responsible tourism and visitor safety across India? Mr. Srivastava? Mr. Arun Srivastava? So, while we wait for Mr. Arun
Is
Srivastava
it
to,
audible?
can you see?
Yeah, is it audible?
Yes, now it is.
Okay, fine. Thank you, Ashdeep, and first of all, for accommodating my request for early, intervention as I had the meeting to, join for. So thank you very much.
Meeting is being recorded.
Voice dropped out again, I think.
Arunji, we can't hear you. I think.
And bringing on to one platform. In fact, I was just looking at the numbers. The numbers are increasing. The numbers of participants increasing every passing second. And it's now close to 90 people already joined. So I think that itself, shows the commitment of the members and the important subject. So that is what I think is a great and commendable effort from your side, from the association side.
Thank you, sir. We're losing your voice again, Mr. Srivastava.
Our ambition is basically to adventure, and not only in terms of exploration, but transform the landscape of tourism. That as such benefits different communities and encourages economic growth also. So that is our objective collectively as one sector, ministry, and the most important stakeholder of the section, the tourism ministry, which is you people, and that's where the drive happens. As we are all are aware in terms of the asset which this has in terms of the opportunities for the adventure tourism, be it Himalayas or deserts or forests. So there are ample opportunities which are available, and and a lot to be basically hard.
So we are unable to hear you.
Very lucky, have that in our country. Well, it stands out as a powerful driver for holistic development, not only offering thrilling experience for a traveler, but also creating a wide ecosystem of opportunities and benefits. And especially on the benefits part, what it activities can be directly linked with the adventure tourism and the development. So the new infrastructure goes to those far off areas, and then local communities directly get benefited. The conservation effort is also very important, which I strengthen, and then as tourism supports the protection and validation of both natural habitat as well as the cultural resources of these places. Then again, as I said, it is high value but low impact tourism, which India can boost revenue while protecting the environment and positioning itself as a responsible. Improving steadily. Now, today at in Adventure Tourism Development Index, we are, I think, probably at what 77th position in 2024. I'm not sure about 25 where we stand now, but I think probably in 25 also, if that ranking have come, I think probably we are at 37th or something there in some of the parameters. So I think the destination. Now, at the ministry level, at the Ministry of Tourism, Government of India level, we have been focusing on this segment for some time, and Adventure Tourism Association under the leadership of Mr. Bajaj has been very, very active in terms of, doing some from say April to September, there are lull in tourism activity. So to counter that, we launched that 777 days of Himalayas along with the association, and that was quite a successful initiative which we have done. Moving forward from there, Ministry of Tourism has also launched a national strategy tourism development, and we have been focusing on the roadmap which has been provided there for the sustainable development of adventure tourism in that strategy document. And one of the important outcome of this strategy document was the creation of National Board of Adventure Tourism. So that is they all and they are on one platform. So this initiative has also helped us, and we have been regularly holding meeting and thrashing out the issues which are basically plaguing and which are very challenging for the segment, the sector to grow. And we have been able to drive a lot of success through that this initiative of creation of the national board. In fact, some of the important outcome which we are we are able to boost is the creation of model adventure safety law, which is a very important I would say initiative of the board, and along with the toy initiative union territories to frame their own guidelines and probably frame their adventure tourism safety law. Result has been mixed from 2016 to till 2024. Some of the states have come up, because adventure is one segment where the safety aspect is the primary aspect, and that is where tourism being the state subject, it is and it happens in in the geographical areas are also controlled by the state government. So the absence of their own guidelines, and to encourage and to assist other states and UTs, we have also now worked out the model adventure tourism safety law along with the association, and which is in at the last stages of vetting. So probably we hope to share that model law with the states and UT in related to the insurance segment. So especially if you go through the draft, there are various clauses. I think probably 7 to 8 clauses which are covering the insurance segment, and the need of insurance, and of course the standards, which Shri Ajit Bajaj also brought out in the respective assemblies, or through the ordinance route. These insurance will also be part of the those such regulation. Along with ATOAI, we have also been working with IRDA on that, and the consultation process was started, and then we were able to bring IRDA on board, and then 6 insurance service providers have come up with their offers on the segment. So which is again we are now in the process of working out, and probably we will after this where a lot of inputs forward. On from the ministry's side, on the infrastructure development, of course I do not need to update, but there are various circuits and projects which are happening across the country, where we have been sanctioning and working with a lot of states and union territories to take whatever comes out of this today's deliberation. We take these things with IRDA also in terms, specifically in terms of insurance issue, and then let's see, we can also encourage all the members to adopt those insurances practices and insurance cover wherever possible. the panel. Thank you very much, Arshdeep, and thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you so much, Arunji, for your thoughtful words and for reaffirming the ministry's support towards building a safer and more accountable tourism ecosystem, and also for sharing the progress with the National Board of Adventure Tourism and also the model law. Your emphasis on responsible practices and collaboration between government and industry sets the right tone for today's discussion. We truly appreciate your presence and encouragement. With that, we now move into the panel discussion, where we aim to further unpack the role of insurance in enabling trust, safety, and sustainability across the tourism value chain. Now, I will be inviting Mr. Devesh Srivastav, former chairman and managing director of General Insurance Corporation of India, to give us a macro view of the insurance landscape and by helping us understand what insurance really is, why it is so essential in tourism, and where we currently stand as an industry. Mr. Devesh Srivastav began his insurance career in 1987 as a direct recruit officer and gained extensive experiences in both direct insurance and reinsurance. He held an overseas assignment at GIC Re's London branch, managing operations across the UK, Europe, Caribbean, and Latin America, and played a key role in establishing GIC Insurance's Lloyd's Syndicate 1947. As CMD of GIC RE, he also chaired GIC Housing Finance Limited and served on the boards of several domestic and international organizations, including LIC, GIC Reinsurance, South Africa, and Asian Reinsurance Company. He was president of the Insurance Institute of India and chairman of the Insurance Academy, contributing significantly to the insurance sector's development. Mr. Srivastav, given your deep experience with insurance frameworks and regulatory structures in India, could you help us understand what is insurance, why it is such a vital component of risk management in the tourism industry?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks, Arshdeep, for that introduction. Well, let me just hope that the transition from one Srivastav to another right now is a smooth one. Now, having said that, let me try and give you some Latin to complicate things that will make insurance more frightening. There's an insurance term called uberrima fide, which essentially that Latin translates in English into utmost good faith. Now, what is utmost good faith? I'm just trying to give you the hang of insurance, from a very 40,000 feet up view, so that you get what insurance is all about and how you eliminate the pain points. So uberrima fide is utmost good faith, and that translates into something that is beyond good faith. What is good faith? When you go to your local kirana store or wherever you're buying some stuff, you know that whatever your man is selling you, let's say dal hai, sabzi hai, it's roti or whatever, chawal or whatever, you have a feeling that yes, it should be good stuff. It should not be something that is expiry dates, so on and so forth, and you pay money for it. Now, when it comes to insurance, you have utmost good faith. And what does that utmost good faith translate into? When you say that the property that you're insuring is worth 50 lakhs, there is no question asked. The insurance company will take it as 50 lakhs and insure it for that value. The pain comes, God forbid, should there be a claim. Then the insurance company will go deep into saying that was it really 50 lakhs or was it 1 crore, and that you underinsured it for 50 lakhs. If there is an underinsurance, then there is an amount that will be lessened from your claim amount, and that causes heartburn. So the first lesson that I would say is that you have all been, so hands-on in your entire operations. Most of you have set it up with your own hands. Therefore, you would be considering it your own baby, knowing it like the back of your palm. Try that when you are getting your stuff insured, when your entire insurance is happening, the values that you assign or ascribe to each part is as close to reality as possible in today's market. That helps in ensuring that at the time of a claim you don't have anything really that bothers you. The other one, in the same breath, I would say, is another Latin term, caveat emptor, which translates into let the buyer beware. This is not something that you would, be getting too much into, but still, as being a part of it, the owner of it, it is always good to see the full stops and commas because they help. They let you know what are the points being missed out. Is there anything else that you would want to have? Would you want a certain extra cover that from the insurance company? So this always helps, and I would earnestly, urge everyone here today to go and make sure that whatever you're buying, just read the policy once, even if it's a cursory look, so that there is nothing that is left out. That is the important part. There should not be any gaps in insurance because that is what causes a lot of heartburn and pain at the time of a claim. Another thing is that the insurance company, even if you have an insurance policy, will always want you to act in a manner uninsured. What does that mean? In the event of a fire, let's say, you're not supposed to just sit and watch. You're supposed to actively engage in dousing the fire to an extent possible, to whatever you can do. Always act as if you're uninsured, not that there is an insurance company that is going to pay me. That is not really the right approach. As Mr. Bajaj also earlier said, the whole trick lies in being insured, having the cover in place, and trying not to use it, because that is not only a question of your monetary help coming from an insurance company, it also leads brand value, and that is something that no company can insure. It is only something that is built within. In fact, all of your tour operators, you would have been widely traveled in Delphi, which for the Greeks was the center of the earth. One of the first maxims is know thyself. Here I would say insure thyself. That is the important part. And this I'm not limiting to the ATOI only, the adventure tourism only. Every aspect of your life, if it's insured, it becomes much easier. Now, having said that, let's break up the insurances that one would need into two parts. One is, of course, your own assets, what you have, which is physical brick and mortar largely, and of course the ones who come in as your clients and you take for your adventure tourisms. Now here, I will talk about an office package policy. I know they would be giving you more details about it, but I always think these package policies are like a thali meal. You get pretty much everything at just one fell swoop, and it's easy. So an office package policy would possibly cover everything for you. You make a mental run through your office. As you enter your office, there would possibly be a big glass door with a neon sign. Should there be a riot or a strike or even a flood that we notice now with all these drains not being, the municipals not doing the correct work and there's overflooding everywhere, these things are covered. You go into your office, your electrical and mechanical things, your air conditioners, all that. I mean, if there's a bust, that is covered. Should there be a fire on the premises, that is covered. You go in further, your electronics, your laptops, your desktops, they are also covered. Then you come to your own employees, who are your most important assets, which you can't really replace. Would you want to have a PA cover for everyone? That is available. Would you also want to give them health insurance as a package that can be included? Then the legal liabilities. Should your office, something should happen that should injure or have a damage done to someone else, that legal liability is covered. An additional rent, should you be have to move out to a certain other premises because of certain, let's say, a fire or any other hazard or anything that has affected your work, that extra rent is paid. Terrorism, we hear so much about terrorism. I mean, if your premises are entirely locked out because the government feels there is something hanky-panky going on in some other building in the same vicinity, again, all that is covered. Your people would be handling a lot of money, in the sense some people may be wanting to pay cash, or maybe there is so much of money involved in your person going to the bank and depositing that money. That fidelity is covered. So essentially, what I'm trying to say is that it covers your bases. The Air India incident, for example, when an aircraft lands right on top and your entire mess is in a mess. In fact, there's a very dark humor about 9/11 when it happened way back in 2000, 2001. That and only the British can think of it, that why waste of time at the airports? American Airlines now flies direct to your office. So should there be an aircraft damage? That is covered. Your business interruption, that is covered. So essentially what I'm trying to say here is that your own assets, they are covered in an office package policy, and that is something that you must take. And I don't think it is, I know Mr. Bhatt had earlier asked that it's very difficult to get an insurance, but this is the easy part. This is not something that any insurer is going to refuse, because this is a routine part of their job to hand out these office insurance policies for all offices, not restricted to adventure tourism offices alone. Now for the second part, about the people that you take for these trips, that is the hazard. Now this office policy can of course cover your physical infrastructure at your base camps as well, because even there you will have a huge physical infrastructure that would need to be covered. So that is also taken care of. Now when we come to your people that you're taking for these adventure tourisms, there is a certain amount of risk involved. And I think what Mr. Bhatt said then was that is where the insurance companies feel the risk is much higher. Yes, the risk is higher, but then the premiums are also higher. The premiums are commensurate with whatever risk that you are taking. You will define your limit of liability depending on the risk appetite that you have. So if you are a firm that is willing to, have a larger limit of liability for an accident, God forbid, that is what can be worked out. And the insurance companies will be happy to work out something, because you will leverage everything. You will leverage your office package policy along with the health insurance policies for your employees, along with the third party cover that you would want to have, what you call a CGL also, a comprehensive general liability, should an accident occur. So the insurance policies will be happy to, I know Mr. Bhatt will not like the word happy, but would be, at least be happy to look at it and come up with a solution. Now, there are so many insurance companies in India today, and the good thing is that they are not all homegrown insurance companies. Most of the companies today have an international partner, and they are, operating around the globe. So they have seen it, been there, done that. They would have all sorts of experiences under their belt. There is no reason why somebody wouldn't want, who's been operating in Europe for such a long number of years, or maybe in the US for a long number of years, and who wouldn't want to look at something like an adventure tourism here as well. Because they had that experience, they will only be wanting to translate it here. But yes, as Mr. Bajaj said earlier, the fly in the ointment, so to say, is your safety standards. How high are the safety standards that you maintain? Because that is important. That's a very important underwriting consideration, the word that we use. That if you are having high amount of safety standards, then that is what you would want to have under your in your portfolio as an insurer. That yes, this is a good company, it maintains the highest standards of safety, and we should be writing it, because insurance for them is truly a way of protection only should something absolutely out of the way happen. I'll draw you an analogy from aviation, that as an aviation and in GIC, you would be writing almost every airline in the world. About 450 odd airlines you would write at GIC. The gold standard for us used to be the Japan Airlines, because their safety standards were the best. So that is one. And then, of course, Qantas, again, another airline that has had a fabulous safety track record. Now, this is what, as an aviation underwriter, we would see, that if that is a safety standard that other airlines are trying to match, then yes, those airlines definitely deserve a break in their premium, something that can be looked at a lower premium for a higher risk. Now, this is something that I've tried to give you a very high overview of things. Maybe I've made a bit of sense here and there, and the idea was also to, make you think. But the good thing is that with so many insurers in the country today, and with so many reinsurers, the ones who actually give the capacity to these insurance companies to write these risks, and all reinsurance companies are cross-border, they write across the globe. You have enough expertise, you have enough data to say how good or bad could a risk be. If you as an ATOI also push for certain things, and I'm very happy to hear that the ministry is also pushing for it through the regulator IRDA, who again is under, it really wants insurance to pick up in the country. We are abysmally low as far as insurance penetration is concerned. And IRDA has this very laudable and lofty goal of insurance for all by 2047. Therefore, this is important that you as a group make this push, and I'm sure the insurers will respond at it. So that is my initial thoughts. I hope I've been able to convey certain points to your listeners. I'll be happy to take in Q&A later on. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Srivastava. It was really heartening to hear you speak so passionately a subject which is very close to your heart. And today, I think you have enlightened us all a lot about insurance and reinsurance. And it's really good to know that, from understanding the basic principles to recognizing the current gaps in our industry, you've highlighted that while risk is inevitable, unpreparedness is not. So we now move from the why to the how. Mr. Dave Calvert is here with us today to explain how we can put these concepts into action and make insurance accessible, efficient, and truly protective for everyone in tourism. Mr. Dave Calvert, founder and CEO of Esigo, has been a pioneering force in India's travel assistance and insurance sector for over 25 years. He envisioned a travel landscape where protection is integral, not optional. Recognizing the limitations of traditional insurance, he championed a comprehensive, proactive approach to travel assistance. This vision gave rise to Esigo's innovative services, real time luggage tracking, personalized concierge support, emergency roadside aid, and rapid medical evacuation, setting new industry standards. His commitment to innovation and excellence has earned him regional and global recognition as a thought leader. Mr. Calvert continues to drive Esigo's mission, delivering trusted and end to end travel assistance. Mr. Calvert, based on your extensive work with tourism businesses, guides, and travelers across the spectrum, what could you help us understand what types of insurance policies are currently available and relevant for tourism companies, adventure operators, guides, and guests? And more importantly, how can these be practically integrated into tourism offerings, both in domestic and international contexts, to add real value and confidence to the travel experience? Over to you, Mr. Dev.
Yeah, thank you, Ashley, for having me on this. Very happy and privileged to be part of this, esteemed panel. Mr. Devesh Srivastava, I think I'm so happy to hear you speak. I think I'm lucky to hear you speak because I've seen you for many years. So it was very nice to hear you. With your permission, I am just going to take your that 40,000 feet aeroplane. I'm going to just land it and try and take a little more ground level view of what's happening today. So I think first and the foremost, before I talk about the products and what can be sold, I think the biggest issue that we have today in our country is lack of awareness. And I would just like to cite a recent example where the unfortunate Air India crash that happened recently. Out of 230 members, there were only 37 people insured. Rest of the members are not insured. There was nobody insured. And those 37 people, out of which 16 we had covered, so we got them a claim. But it was shocking to me, and I think unless and until as a fraternity and unless until as a team, we do not sort of understand the value of insuring every single person before he travels. We will never get the benefit of whether it's a product or whether it's anything else. So it's very important that we understand the importance. If I quickly benchmark this to anywhere else in the world, some of the first world countries, whether it's like Australia, UK, Europe, USA, 85% of the people who travel overseas and within the country, 85% people buy a travel insurance policy before they travel, and the balance 15% have some sort of a cover either on their credit card or through some bank offering. So, and if I see that in India, we are currently at about 25%, which means 75% people who travel overseas. I'm not even touching the domestic travel. I'm talking about pure overseas travel. 75% people today travel without a travel insurance. And in my 25 years of experience, I have seen people regretting that. I have seen people having to come back and sell their home because they have to pay the hospital because their bills will run into a couple of $100,000. So I would only start with urging the entire fraternity. I've been doing this for 25 years. When I started this, the conversion in India was in single digit. I'm glad we've come to a 25% number. We got a little bit of boost post-COVID, where there was a sudden awareness in people that, okay, look, I think we need to buy a health cover. But I think we are kind of lagging again, right? People have taken it for granted and so on and so forth. So personally, for me, I'm really I think it's a mission that we have, whether it's for me or my company, to make sure that we everybody who travels, whether domestic or international, should have a cover, because it's very, very critical. The second part is in terms of what kind of products are available today, what kind of products can be developed. I think it's an ongoing process. There are international and domestic adventure products available where we can cover people from whether they are going for bungee jumping, whether they're going for trekking, whether they're going for motorbiking, etc. So I think all these kind of covers are available. But the important part is that, are they seamlessly integrated, where if something goes wrong, the customer can actually have a very help available to him on the spot, right? Whether it is evacuation, whether it is claiming seamlessly, etc. So and we have had some discussions with various insurance companies. We are discussing with various committees, trying to ensure that there is a seamless experience that a customer should have. Because tomorrow, if you as a travel agent are selling a product, the customer should, in case if something has to go wrong, I know Mr. Bajaj said earlier that we should never have to use the policy, and so we all wish, because it doesn't benefit anyone. But I think our thought process always has to be that if someone, God forbid, has to use it, can they get a full 100% coverage? Can they get an experience by which they will get instant help, and so on and so forth? I think so. That's the second key part for us. We do a lot of work, like I mentioned earlier, with insurance companies. We play a role of a translator, which means we work very closely with travel agents, trying to understand what the problems are, trying to create right products. We translate your problems into how it can be covered with insurance companies, and we will continue to work with ATOAI to see if we can extend, if there are any possibilities to extend all kind of travelers within the country or outside the country. And I think lastly, one of the cover which is the most important part is covering the travel agent's risk, which means that any kind of liability that you have today, and the liabilities can be in different forms. It can be, let's say you have a supplier, and that supplier is, you've paid money, the customer is traveled or about to travel, the supplier has gone insolvent, right? Supplier does not give services for whatever reason. You might have to rebook, and those kind of expenses should be covered. You will have errors and omissions by your staff, making certain mistakes, and you having to pay for that should be covered. There will be some sort of deficiency of services by the suppliers, by the service providers, and because of which you may have any kind of a legal claim, and that should be covered in the product. We had a recent situation where there was an airspace closure because of the war situation, and in those kind of cases, we've seen many passengers were stranded in many countries. They couldn't fly back. They had to stay there for a couple of days. And I think a lot of places, the travel agents or the corporates, etc., had to bear the cost of either rebooking or to stay over for those 1, 2, 3 nights extra. So I think these kind of situations, if they arise, I think a tour operator liability is a must, and that's something which is available today, and it's a coverage that I would say every travel agent must have today, because it secures you from any kind of exposure, any kind of financial exposure that you may have because of any default from any third party or things which are out of your control. So happy to take any questions if anybody has.
So thank you, Mr. Karwar, for translating insurance into practical, relatable action steps. From real-life case studies to tech-driven tools and micro solutions, you've shared a lot with us. There is a question over here which I can see in the chat that could you kindly guide me on the key factors one should keep in mind when partnering with or obtaining insurance, whether for personal, company, or third-party coverage? This is a very, very important question, and I would appreciate if you can share some views on that.
Yeah, sure. So I would repeat some of the things that Mr. Srivastav said earlier, where your understanding the policy terms conditions is very important, and not just the sales pitch, but understanding what is covered, and most importantly, understanding what is not covered is very important. That's the first part. The second part is that whoever that you are buying this policy from, are they going to be able to serve you in a proper way in case of any claim? Do they have the understanding of this product? Do they understand? Will they be able to help you in case of a claim? Because you will need a translator. I've done this for many years, and you will need a translator with the insurance companies, with various TPAs, to ensure that your points are put across properly, and the claim gets settled in a smooth fashion. So understanding the product, ensuring that there is it's tech enabled, so that if any changes needs to be made, anything needs to be done, it can be all done on a tech basis, so you don't waste time. And third is choosing the right provider who will assist you in case of a problem.
Thank you so much, Dev. Mr. Devish, we have a question for you. How could one demonstrate to an insurance company that one is following the highest standards of safety in order to get a good deal?
Yes, of course, absolutely, and that is the important part. So let me break it up into two sections. A, about how do you demonstrate. In your own company, you would have some standard operating procedures, some protocols to be followed. For example, in your base camp, the people who are working there would have been trained over a period of time, and you would be doing it regularly as to should a mishap happen. You have these simulations that what are you going to do should a mishap happen. Now, when these are documented and you maintain your registers that yes, this is the protocol that I have set for myself based on this experience or whatever, this is where I've drawn from, and this is how regularly we are adhering to it. Now, these form very important documents for an underwriter to examine and say, yes, these protocols are the best and they are being followed, and therefore this company deserves a lower premium. That is the first thing. The second thing is also I would want to touch upon, claims. It is often said, and very, very often, because the word of mouth travels and this is there, that insurance companies, I'm talking about general insurance only, not life insurance, that general insurance companies are there only when it comes to the time of collecting premium. You don't see them till the next renewal. I would say, thank God you don't see them, because if you see them, that means something bad has happened. The second part is that you say that they are never there when a claim occurs and you don't pay claims. Now, every company today, thanks to the regulator and even international standards that we follow, every company worth its salt has a very robust grievance mechanism. And that mechanism is not limited to the company alone. It extends to the regulator, which again has its own grievance setup. You have the offices of the ombudsman that look at any claim that has not been paid. So don't really fear that a claim will not be paid. You have to have your documentations in order, and then it will be smooth flow always. It will never be a problem. So in fact, the answer to the question is essentially what I said, that you have your protocols and your standard operating procedures well drawn out, documented, and demonstrable. So this is what the underwriter would like to see to give you a premium break.
That is great. Thank you so much for this information. I have another question. If a guest gets injured on a tour, who bears the liability? The guide, the operator, or the insurance provider? How can this be handled fairly? Mr. Devesh?
You see, I mean, when the guest is coming for an adventure tourism, he would be made to sign a certain document where you are limiting your limit of liability. If you are getting yourself insured according to your risk appetite, it depends how much you want to limit your limit of liability. You can always give that. Insurance company will then take over and compensate him. But there are two parts to it. You see, in India, fortunately, we are not very litigious. Whereas in the West, and a lot of your people would be coming in from the West as well, they would have certain different kinds of concepts about how they are to be compensated, and that would rub on should there be a mishap here in India. So, firstly, you limit your liability, you have your protocols in place, and then you have to prove that it was just an accident, as I was talking earlier, not negligence or gross negligence. Gross negligence is what gets you into trouble. Ensure that. And when your limit of liability is defined and the insurance company is accepted it, the insurance company will be taking over and they will be compensating. So it will not be something that will be out of your pocket, which would harm your smooth operations in a regular manner.
Thank you, Mr. Devesh. So this is a question for Dev. Should we take both comprehensive general liability and professional indemnity insurance?
So yes, there is a product that we have now, which is a combination of the two, and more specifically for a travel agent and a tour operator, which will cover these kind of situations. So just the question before this, where who's liable, etc. So in case if let's say a customer has an issue, he has a fall, he may make the tour operator, he may make the local operator as a party towards a claim, right? So we don't know who is going to make a party towards a claim. So in case if they make the travel agent or the tour operator as a party, it will be covered in the liability cover.
So while we were talking about it, just another thing that came to my mind, that we people are too much on the ground, like the adventure tour operators especially. So what is the process of claiming? I mean, we are out there and somebody gets injured and everything, and we are out in a remote part. So what is the process like? How does one go about claiming insurance?
I think just I'm going back to the same thing I mentioned earlier, right? So in today's time, it's just not about giving a product which looks glossy in terms of the coverage, right? But it's very important that it actually works. So for it to work, you need to have a partner, insurance company, assistance company. It's a combination of all three, and it has to, in case if something, let's say if there is a fall, if somebody's had an issue, you need the right evacuation company, you need the right provider who can support in these kind of remote places. So more than the looking at a coverage of whether it's for 50,000 rupees or 1 lakh rupees or 2 lakh rupees, I think it's important to see the fine print and say who's going to actually, who's the assistance provider, who's going to give me help, a real-time help, and when something really goes wrong.
Thank you, Dev. And one more question. Please guide us about trip cancellation policies. Does it work for situations like Operation Sindoor, for climate-related crisis situations and pandemics?
Yes, absolutely. So I think pre-COVID, we had a trip cancellation cover, which covered mainly for, if somebody falls sick, if there's any unfortunate death in the family, then we would, cover cancellation. But over the last 5 years, the kind of uncertain times that we are living in, I think every 3 months we upgrade that product, and every 3 months we are adding some or the other new feature. So currently, the trip cancellation cover that we have will cover them for any cancellations because of war situation, any cancellations due to the airspace being shut, any cancellations if there's a government warning if they cannot travel. So all these cancellations would be covered in the policy. but please read the fine print before. So make sure you have the right policy.
Absolutely. It's really thankful to both of you. You have been more than accommodating of all the questions, that were coming up. And thank you so much for being so patiently replying to each and every one. So here's what we hope we take away from today's session. Insurance is no longer optional. It is integral to professionalism and preparedness in tourism. Whether you're a business owner, a guide, or a traveler, the right policy can make all the difference in an emergency with the right partner. Industry veterans and innovators are ready to help us navigate this space. Let's lean into their expertise. We encourage you to review your current risk management practices, explore tailored insurance solutions, and start conversations or reach out to ATOAI for guidance. Thank you once again to our esteemed speakers and to all of you for your time and participation. Very, very thankful to the Secretariat also for making this happen. Thank you very much, Mr. Srivastav, Mr. Karwat, for your time today. Stay safe, stay informed, and let's build a more resilient tourism industry together.
Deep, can I speak something? Can I ask something?
Yes. Okay. We do have a minute. Yes, please.
So Dev, you did just mention about trip cancellation cover. So do you cover in that scenario also where some family emergency came for someone, and in that scenario that person is not able to travel and want to have that cancellation benefits? Is that being covered? Like war you have covered, air shutdown covered, common warnings you have covered. So something like on the family front, if somebody want to take that thing also in the mind. So is that being covered?
Yes. So in case of any emergency hospitalization in the family or any unfortunate death in the family, and family
Yes.
we define as parents, spouse, children, in-laws, brothers and sisters. So this is defined as family. As long as anybody is within this circle, we will cover a cancellation.
Perfect. Great. Thank you for sharing this information. I'll get in with you for the same.
Yes, sure.
Thank you. Thank you so
once again.
much. Thank you, Mr. Srivastav. Thank you, Mr. Srivastav. And thank you so much, Mr. Karwal. Thanks again. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having us. Thank you.
Thanks everyone. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.